Welcome to the Listening Time Podcast. Hey everybody, this is Connor, and you're listening to episode 173 of the Listening Time Podcast. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that these episodes have helped you reach your goals in your English learning journey. And I mention goals because that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. We're going to talk about creating goals for yourself and specifically creating mini goals, I'll call them. And this is an idea that I got from running, actually. There's nothing revolutionary about this idea. I'm sure many of us have thought about this before, but I was running, I think last week, and this idea came to me based on my run from that day. So what happened was that when I was running and I had gotten through maybe 3/4 of my run, I got really tired. I really wanted to stop. My body was telling me to stop, but I actually really wanted to finish the run even more. So I was trying to find ways to be able to finish the run without stopping. And what I did was that instead of just focusing on how far I still had to run to reach the end, I started creating these mini goals for myself by just looking at a point that was a little ahead of where I was currently. Like I would see a big tree 50 meters away, and I would say, okay, I just need to make it to that tree. And I would just focus on the tree, and then I would reach the tree pretty quickly. And then I would create another mini goal and say, okay, I need to reach that car over there. I just need to reach that point. And it wouldn't be too far or too hard to reach it, and I would reach that car. And I did that over and over until eventually my last mini goal was reaching the finish line, right? So instead of focusing on how far I needed to run to reach the end, I broke that goal up. In other words, I divided that goal into smaller mini goals that really helped me finish the run. I don't know if I would have finished it if I hadn't done that. And when I did that, I said, this is a great topic to talk about in a listening time episode, because it's something that can help people with their language learning and in other areas of our lives, right? So I'm sure this will be an interesting episode and a helpful episode for hopefully all of you today. And remember that if you have trouble understanding native speakers when they speak fast, but you can understand me pretty well in this podcast, then I recommend that you sign up for my membership so that you can get my listening practice seminars. This is my specialized training that helps you notice and recognize different difficult sound patterns in English, things that make it hard to understand fast English. So I help you train with those seminars. And of course, if you become a Listening Time family member, you'll get my advanced podcast episodes in which I speak fast. So the link to sign up is down below. And you also have the link down below to sign up for my US Conversations podcast so you can practice with my conversations that I have with other native speakers from around the US. So make sure to sign up for that if you're interested. All right, let's get started. Are your ears ready? You know what time it is. It's listening time. Okay, let's talk about creating mini goals. So, like I said, this isn't a new revolutionary idea. This is something that a lot of people talk about, but because I got that idea from my run, and I don't think I've talked much about this before, I want to talk a little bit about how I do this in my language learning and how you can do it in your language learning journey. And first of all, let me talk about why these mini goals work, why they're effective. Well, of course, one reason is that we break the goal up, we divide it into smaller goals, so it's actually a little bit easier to achieve goals because you don't just have one big goal, you have several smaller goals. So of course you can achieve goals better like this because there are more goals to achieve and they're easier to achieve. But really, the reason why these mini goals are so effective is because they provide us with the satisfaction of knowing that we're achieving goals, we're progressing, and it gives us motivation to keep on going because we feel like we're actually accomplishing things. So, for example, on my run, if I only viewed the end point as my goal, it didn't feel like I was accomplishing that much as I was running because that end point was still far away. But when I created those mini goals, like, okay, just reach that tree right there. Okay, just reach that car next. Okay, just reach that sign next. Then I actually felt like I was achieving things because I was achieving those mini goals. I was getting one goal closer to my end goal. And that really motivated me. And it made the process seem less difficult, less daunting. Remember, the word daunting refers to something that is intimidating or hard or a little scary because of maybe how difficult it is. So my overall goal of reaching the end point of my run was not as daunting anymore because I could see I was making progress with these mini goals. I completed this goal, and then I completed the second goal, and then the third goal. And there's something in that that really helps our brain. It helps us feel like we're progressing, and it helps motivate us, I think. So how can we do this with our language learning? Well, for me, for example, I have the goal of being fluent in French. And when I say fluent, I'm using my definition of fluent. Everyone has a different definition of this word. What I mean is that I want to be able to have conversations in French very easily without much interruption at all. Just being able to interact comfortably and normally in French. I'm not referring to not making mistakes and sounding really, really good or having a perfect accent. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just referring to being able to have comfortable, fluid conversations with native speakers without any problem. So that's my goal. And that's kind of a daunting goal because I'm still kind of far from that. I can have conversations in French, but they're definitely not fluid, comfortable conversations. I still have a long way to go. So that goal is kind of daunting. However, if I break it up into smaller goals, then it doesn't feel as daunting, and I feel like I'm making progress. So in addition to just my ultimate goal of being fluent in French, I need to set smaller goals. For example, I already achieved one of these goals, which was be able to have a conversation completely in French with someone who did not actually speak English. I actually did this earlier this week. I talked to someone in French, and that person didn't speak English at all, and I did pretty well in the conversation, I think. So that gives me motivation because I achieved that goal of being able to talk to someone in French the whole time in French, and they don't even speak English. So that's a great thing that I was able to do. And I can say, great, I achieved that goal. What's the next one? And then I create another goal after that, right? So you can think about what type of goals you have that are smaller that can help you get closer to your ultimate goal of being fluent in English, for example. And one really important note here is that you want to make these mini goals achievement based. What do I mean by that? Well, you want to have a goal that is based on you accomplishing something and not just a goal, for example, to study for 30 minutes tomorrow, right? That's a goal, but that's not an achievement-based goal. So the reason why I say this is that, for example, if I just have the goal to run for 30 minutes 3 times a week, I might not actually ever run longer distances in those 30 minutes. I might just run and then I look at the clock and then 30 minutes have passed and then I stop. And I'm not guaranteed to run further every time. So goals that are just based on the amount of time that you do something for don't work as well for these mini goals, in my opinion. I think that we should make goals that are based on achieving something because this also helps you feel like you are progressing, like you're getting closer to your goal. And that's not always the case if your goal is just to do something for a certain amount of time, right? So what can be another achievement-based goal for language learning? Like I said, talking to a native speaker and they don't speak your native language and you have a whole conversation with them. That's a cool goal, I think. Another mini goal could be to understand a whole 10-minute video in English, in your case, with the subtitles and be able to understand everything. That would be an interesting goal. And then maybe after that, you have another goal of being able to understand a similar video, but without subtitles, for example. So that can be the next goal after that. And then maybe you have the goal after that to be able to understand a conversation between two people who are speaking English. And first, you have the goal to understand a conversation with subtitles between two people. And then after that, you have the goal of understanding a whole conversation between two people without having any subtitles. And of course, you can use my US Conversations podcast for that type of goal. So these are very simple, clear mini goals that you can set for yourself that can help make you feel like you're making progress towards your ultimate goal. Because once you can understand a video with subtitles, that means that you're actually becoming a better listener and you know more words. And then when you can understand a video without subtitles, that means that your listening is getting even better. You're noticing more details, more sounds. And then when you can understand a conversation between two people, now your listening is getting even better. It means that you know even more vocabulary and more slang and expressions and things like that. And then when you can understand a conversation without subtitles, then you're doing really well. You're getting much further in your progress to becoming a fluent English speaker. So each of those mini goals takes you closer to your ultimate goal, right? So those are things that you can set for yourself that are achievable, that can help you divide your big goal up into smaller goals to make sure that you stay motivated and you feel like you're accomplishing things. That's what's really cool. One other type of mini goal that I've been setting for myself recently with my conversations that I've been having in French is that before my conversation with the teacher that I'm talking to, I look at the corrections from my last conversation with them, and I choose a couple of those corrections, things that I said wrong in the last class, and I really focus on saying those things right in this class. I didn't used to do that in the past. In the past, I would just never look at my corrections from my previous class. I would just ignore them and just go to the next conversation and make the same mistakes again. Now I have the goal of choosing maybe one or two of my mistakes from the last class, and I really try to say those correctly in the next one. And I've really enjoyed this. It's really helped me feel like I'm making progress because I can see the difference between the last class when I said them wrong and then now this class when I'm saying them right. I can see the difference. I've achieved this mini goal, and now I know that I'm a little bit closer to my ultimate goal. So that's one that I just thought of that has been really motivating for me recently, correcting one or two errors each time from my last class to this class, right? So that's another cool mini goal that keeps me motivated. And really, you can come up with all kinds of goals for yourself, for language learning, for your English learning journey. I think that if you do this, you're going to feel like you're making more progress. You're going to feel like you're getting closer to your goal. It really helps you feel like you're taking those steps towards the ultimate goal. So this is something that's really useful as a language learner. And this concept is also useful in a lot of other areas of life as well. I thought of just a few, like, for example, with your finances. Instead of just having the ultimate goal of, oh, I need more money, or I want to be a lot more comfortable financially, or whatever, you can create these mini goals that will help you reach your ultimate goal. For example, if you're in debt right now and you have multiple debts, multiple credit cards, and loans that you need to pay off, first, maybe you choose the easiest debt to pay off, and that's your first mini goal. And then you work really hard to pay off that first debt, that easiest debt, and then you pay it off, and then you'll feel good, like, wow, I just paid off one of my debts. I used to have 5 debts. Now I only have 4 debts. And that feels really good. It feels like you just achieved something significant and you're making progress. And then you focus on the next debt, the next easiest one. And then you make that your next mini goal. And then you pay that off, and that feels great. You've paid off 2 of your different debts. Now you work towards the next one. So you can see how that can be much more helpful for you, and it can make it easier to achieve your ultimate goal. Because if you just think of the ultimate goal and you think of where you are now financially, that ultimate goal can seem very daunting. If you have 5 different debts to pay off, that probably doesn't feel very good, and it feels like you're really far from achieving your goal. But if you break it up into mini goals, then you can feel like your ultimate goal is more attainable. Something that's attainable is something that you can reach. So it's more attainable because there are many steps that you take to achieve it. First, you take the first step, and then the next one, and then the next one. This is a much easier way for us to actually not become overwhelmed by this big goal and to feel like we're making progress, right? So you can apply this concept to your financial situation. How about losing weight? If you're 50 pounds overweight, it can feel like a daunting goal to have to lose 50 pounds. That might feel like a lot. But if you break it up into mini goals, like, okay, I want to lose 5 pounds, right? And then you achieve that goal and you feel great because you took that first step, and then you create your next mini goal, and then you lose another 5 pounds and you feel great because you just achieved your second mini goal, etc. You keep going like that and losing weight, and then eventually you'll reach your goal, right? Or maybe you want to lift heavier weight in the gym. You want to get stronger. Of course, you don't just put all of that heavy weight on at the beginning. You move up little by little. Maybe this week your goal is to lift 30 pounds, and then next week it's to lift 35 pounds, etc. And these mini goals help you feel satisfied that you're achieving things, you're getting closer, you're making progress. And this is very motivating, right? So I think you get the point. These mini goals can really help us on our journey to eventually achieve our ultimate goal. So I hope that this episode got you thinking about how you can implement these mini goals in your English learning or other areas of your life. And maybe one of your mini goals with English is to be able to understand one of my advanced podcast episodes with the subtitles first, and then without the subtitles. Well, I recommend that you implement those mini goals. Those are great goals that can help take you to your ultimate goal. So if you want those advanced episodes, make sure to sign up to become a Listening Time family member. The link is down below. And then after that, your next mini goal can be to understand one of my US Conversations episodes with the transcript, and then eventually without the transcript. So if those are mini goals that you'd like to implement, then make sure to go down and click on the link to sign up for my US Conversations podcast. And if you like this podcast, please share it. Please send it to your friends or family members who are learning English and would find this podcast useful. And please give it a 5-star rating and write a review if you can. All right. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I'll talk to you on the next episode of Listening Time.